Vito, this is Lucas again. Could you please maybe send me the link that I could provide to one of my colleagues that she would like to join the webinar?
Sure, I will send it to you right now.
Okay, because we will probably have new project officer and she will be responsible for Novel Baltic. So if she will find time, then it would be maybe good that she will.
Sure, and just to inform everybody that we are live and heard by all attendees and speakers alike now. But I will send you the link in a second.
Super, thank you.
Good morning, Janet.
Morning. Sorry, I'm a little bit late because there was a meeting.
Yeah, it's okay. For you, it has already been a full day. For us, it's only just the morning.
Yes.
As we have people slowly coming in, we will start in a couple of minutes. And I will explain in the beginning very few house rules, how we can ask questions from speakers and stuff like that. And then we can officially kick off the event. But still a couple of minutes to go, and let's wait until the morning people come in mostly. Most of our attendants are coming still from the Northern European region. All right, good morning to everybody. At least according to my clock, it's 10 a.m. in the Eastern or Northern Europe. So we are about to start. And welcome to the webinar on market intelligence on China. And this is already a part of. I was trying to remember this morning how many of those webinars we have had, but we have had quite a few of them, which has been focusing on how to do both business and also academic collaboration with our partners in China. And if you don't have any partners, how to find them there. So while we are still waiting some people to join, because I think if I'm checking my speaker list, then all the speakers have arrived. So there's a 100% participation rate, which is very good. It would be quite a shame if some of the speakers didn't show up. And we still have a few more people coming in compared to the registration list. And while we wait those people to come in, there are a couple of good warm-up activities for us to start with. So the way how you can ask questions is via the chat boxes. In the Zoom screens, you have the Q&A box, which will send questions directly to the speakers. And you also have the chat box, which sends the questions either to speakers or to everybody. So both are absolutely fine to use. You can use I would even encourage to use the chat version, because quite often we have among the speakers really knowledgeable and interesting people. So some of the information that is coming from the chat might be really valuable. And as I mentioned, we have had a series of such China Nordic thematic and partnership webinars. And after this webinar, by the way, we will also record this webinar, and we will publish the presentations and recordings after the webinar. And with these recordings and presentations, all the participants who signed up will also get a short email from me. And I will link there also a couple of the old links in terms of the previous webinars. So if you're interested, you can very quickly diagonally scroll through that who were the speakers or who were the companies attending those previous webinars. If some of the names or some of the company names seem interesting to you, or you can relate to them, then you can check out those presentations as well. But without much introduction further from my side, I would like to kick off today's webinar with a short video about Novel Baltic project. So this will lay some background context at who we are, why we are organizing these webinars, and what is the benefit or part of the benefit that we can offer to you. And doing it via video usually saves a lot of time and explains some things relatively quicker. So just launching the video about now, and after that we move to the speeches. So short clip of how we are trying to combine, let's say, deep tech knowledge and turn it into a market value. And if any of those keywords seemed interesting to you, feel free to look us up and type into the Google Novel Baltic, or just turn to any of us and ask more information. But enough from me talking. So I would like to give word to Professor Helu Hägman from University of Oulu to quickly give an introduction of our project and some of the things that we are doing in the laboratories, but also on the market and in the Chinese front. So Helu, the floor is yours. You are still muted, Helu. Just saying that we are all developing really good lip reading skills during the digital age.
Yeah, I thought that you can understand when you only see my face.
Now you are with us. So it's good.
Okay. Thank you, Vaido. And my topic is how Novel Baltic project can connect you with relevant contacts in China, and I try to answer this important question. And it's my great pleasure to be able to open this webinar. Here we go.
Excellent.
Okay. And okay, so I'm coming from the University of Oulu, and Oulu University is ranked in the top of 3% of all 17,000 universities in the world. And especially I'm working in the ecology and genetics research unit, and we have several research groups, and my personal group is plant bio, focusing on plant molecular biology and biotechnology. And the research group is focused on forestries, wildberry species, and on conservation biology. And concerning the Novel Baltic project, so especially we have been focusing on authenticity of the berries and berry products. Yes, and this is just shortly, I would like to show you that we have altogether 11 partners in the Novel Baltic project, and from different countries and different universities and centers. And then we have also the 6 different VPs, starting from management and ending up to techno-economic evaluation. And yes, our partners in China are first and very importantly Beijing Forest University. We started the cooperation with Professor Zhang Bulin already in 2012, and have been since then in contact with him. And I have to say that since 2020 and 21, so we have had a really fruitful collaboration with Professor Zhang Bulin, and this will continue, still continuing. And I'm really happy that we have Professor Zhang Bulin giving the presentation in this webinar. And here I also would like to mention some competencies of Beijing University, like which their expertise in these areas is really important also for us, especially considering these biomaterials and environment and landscape and forests, of course. And there is in the slide you can see some of our Finnish people who are Finnish people taking part into the meeting in China last year. And if you are interested, you can see the links down here. So then we also had the possibility to visit in China National Research Institute of Food and Fermentation Industries, and also in the Institute of Chinese Materia Medica, China Academy of Chinese Medical Sciences. And in both of these institutes, we also had the possibility to listen their interesting talks, but also we also had prepared some talks about the topics what we are working on. So and still very important China contacts are like FinCI, Finland-China Innovation Center, which is part of the Team Finland, Business Finland since 2005. And this the general manager of FinCI is Mrs. Joan Zhang, and then the other contact which I would like to mention is Finnish Business Council Shanghai, and there is the executive director Maria Motar, and also the Elina Rimpi from Consulate of General of Finland in Shanghai, where we have also visited during our last visit to China, and there was, in addition to me, so also Heikki Salo, Vaido, and Leena Faveen, who were involved in these trips and making these contacts. And then at last but not at least, I would like to say that we have also steering committee, and which have the external members are Birgitta Vartanen from Arctic Flavors, and then Andre Veskioja, Thomas Pavlovich, and Kenneth Root. And we have had a regular steering group meetings once a year, and members have strong experience on research and berry business. And then the group has also been active, and their comments and discussions have been really valuable for us. Especially, for instance, Kenneth Root has been made business selling the berry products to China, and he has, for instance, telling us about the formalities and maybe difficulties which they have find out. And this was my last slide. These are my contact data, and I would greatly and I am also very interested to listen about the webinar talks, but I will stop now and wish you all very interesting webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Helu. And yes, I would like to just comment that much that the institutions and the names that Helu presented, they those people we have collaborated already 2.5 years now, and we can kind of vouch for each and every one of them that they will really reply to you, and it won't be a cold contact, but we can put you into a really warm and meaningful connection there if this is somehow interesting to you as a company or as a research institution or just interested person from Chinese part. And one thing that quite often goes with the webinars is that it's a good policy or a polite and both useful and even beneficial sometimes to give word for those people who are giving you the money. And in our case, the money is coming from BSR region, and we have Mr. Lukas Korpal today with us, who will kind of will look into the future as much as possible in these uncertain times, that what is going to be the EU side opportunities, especially from BSR program in supporting the companies and R&D institutions in future. And from my own side, I can say that while often the EU money has been labeled as undesirable or comes with certain urban legends attached, then I've been working 4 years now in the Southeast Asian markets, and partially thanks to the EU funding. So it is possible to really get tangible support from EU side. And now the floor and the screen to Mr. Lukas Korpal from BSR program.
Okay. Hopefully everybody can hear me.
At least I can.
Okay. Just a second. I will make my presentation hopefully bigger. Okay. Okay, it's working on my computer, so we can start. So thank you, Professor. Thank you, Vaido, for introduction. As you know, my name is Łukasz Korpal, and I'm happy that I can introduce some information about our new program, or maybe we could say old program, but in new financial perspective, 2021-2027. And once again, thanks to whole Novel Baltic team for invitation and for this possibility. So let's start. Today I would like to say a few words about our program area, our draft thematic framework, and the process, which actually is the place where we are now. So for maybe our colleagues outside the project and for our Chinese partners, so our project is covering 8 EU countries and 3 non-EU member states. You see these small dots with Belarus and Russia, because hopefully they will participate, but to participate they have to sign financial agreement with the Commission. Okie dokie. So who we are, let's say, what is Interreg Baltics region? So we are one of Interreg projects in Europe. We are really source of funding for those who has smart ideas how to shape our region. And we, let's say, we provide much more than just funding, because we are trying to create an environment for working together to let your solutions, project solutions, become a common practice. So I decided to put one slide about our value statements. So let's say for our today's topic, so for our partners from private sector, let's say, so values like customer orientation and transfer of knowledge, I think will be one of the most important elements for the future. However, what is really important here that we are a cooperation program, so we do not have a straight business orientation like other, especially national programs in European do. So we will, for example, not build with you some chain how to sell your products in Asia. However, we would like to help to create this framework to do it, and we are really happy how Novel Baltic is implementing their activities, we have to say. So let's jump into the future. Let's say, so in the new perspective we will have 4 priorities and 9 program objectives. So all of this will are in order to put some innovative, water smart and climate neutral solutions into practice. So it's quite similar to our current program, but details are visible right now. So as you see, 4 priorities: innovative societas, water smart societas, climate neutral, and cooperation governments. These are our 4 main priorities. However, each priority will have some objectives, and I would like to say a few words about each objective, but really briefly. For details, we can provide something bigger a bit later, I have to say, because I have to really point out here that program priorities and objectives are subject to approval right now, but the program countries and the European Commission. So our first priority, innovative societas, it will have objectives targeted to resilient economies and communities and responsive public services. And what we understand as a resilient economics and communities is ability to respond to external disturbances such as recessions and financial crises, downturns of particular industries, or major health crises. So the program encouraged actions to help to avoid unwanted external impacts, or to be able to quickly recover from them. And what we think that what we would like to maybe see under this objective, it's adapt smart specialization approaches, adjust innovative ecosystems, for example, or increase innovativeness of the region as such. So second objective in priority 1 is responsive public services. So program would like to support actions to improve organizational setup and processes to respond to public needs, and to deliver less bureaucratic and more cost-efficient public services. So this will be our aim here. It will be really very nice to have really less bureaucratic possibilities. So what here could be interesting, for example, deliver tailor-made needs-based and cost efficiency services, harmonize maybe systems and standards, develop solutions responsible to change. However, this is rather for public services, not for clearly companies, let's say. Our second priority, water smart societas with sustainable waters and blue economy. So it can be really interesting for our partners. And with sustainable waters program supports actions that improve the state of water in the region and make it management more sustainable. So here we would like to have, for example, some water management practices to the changing climate, which is actually right now really hot and important topics. These waters will include Baltic Sea coast and inland waters like rivers, lakes, and groundwater. Blue economy. Sustainable use of fresh and seawaters, as well as marine resources in innovative business development in the whole region. These include aquaculture, blue biotechnology, shipping, fishery, and coast and maritime tourism. So I can say that this is one of my favorites. Then really looking forward for nice projects. So here encourages actions for blue business, strengthen resilience of blue businesses, and mitigate impact of blue businesses on climate change as a potential topics of projects. And now priority number 3, climate neutral societas with 3 sub-points: circular economy, energy transition, and smart green mobility. So with circular economy program would like to support actions that facilitate the shift from linear to circular resources use. This implies keeping products and materials in use for as long as possible without increasing pressure on the environment. So here it's a good example for private sector, let's say, because we would like to create business opportunities for environmental and societal benefits, untap digitalization, and create and promote circular environments. So the holistic approach shall go beyond waste management to connect water, energy, transport, and land use. Energy transition, also very important sub priority. So program would like to support the decarbonization of energy systems in the region in order to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So this is our main, or we hope it will be our main main target. And the program also encourages actions to increase renewable energy production from locally available resources. What kind of actions are possible? For example, adapt and update policies, coordinate plans and share solutions across the borders, increase distribution of renewable energy across all sectors. The third one, smart green mobility. Green and well functioning cross-border mobility system is, in our opinion, vital for the development of our region. Program supports the smooth movement of people and goods in across urban and rural areas while saving resources by increasing efficiency. So here, for example, harmonized mobility systems across the borders or mobile transport companies and citizens to use smart, greener solutions. Okay, now priority 4, cooperation governments. Here I would like to, maybe I will not go to the details here because project platforms is a mechanism dedicated to projects which are already finalized, and this is still far away from here or from now maybe. However, it will be still possible if European Commission will approve our propositions. So if you see my mouse indicator, then we are somewhere here right now. So we have our program is actually drafted, and now procedure of approval is running. So now we are waiting for national approvals, and then project will be submitted to European Commission. However, our officers are working really well, and we are in good mood to have it done still maybe in 2021. What is important for you as a potential project partners? Our plan is to announce first call of proposals in the end of 2021 or beginning of 2022. So it's short and long time in parallel, but yeah, we would like to ask you to stay connected, to observe our website, or observe our partner search at LinkedIn, which is very useful tool. You can share your ideas, you can discuss with potential project partners about topics, about partnerships, and everything what is really relevant for the project. We would be also really grateful if you could visit our accounts on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as well. We have new account there. So this is actually everything what I prepared about the future. I know it's a lot of informations and a lot of topics can be covered by our new priorities. However, really, let's stay in touch, let's stay connected, and please observe us and apply to our calls. Thank you very much. And if you have some questions, please feel free.
Thank you, Lukas. And I echo Lukas's last thought on if you have any questions, you can write them to chat, and we will take a few of them now. And if we can't take all, then we will reply to them later. And especially this might be valid for our Chinese speakers, because I assume that you have quite a few questions to them. But I do have one question to Lukas. Do you envision that the SMEs can be the partners in the upcoming program right now?
Yes, absolutely. We are open for SMEs. I think that we did some lessons learned from current or previous program, let's say. So also, there will be also changes from the administrative and financial point of view. So we would like to apply a lot of lump sums and flat rates to make project implementation easier from the administrative point of view, let's say. This is what we learned from private partners, that they were very often complaining that procedure is really complicated and takes a long time and so on and so on. So that's why we are working to simplify it. And yeah, it would be super good to have also project partners from private sector.
Excellent. So it's good to note that SME feedback from previous programs has been heard, and they are welcome to join in the new programs. And a couple of keywords that stood out for me is the green and blue economy, alongside, of course, with the smart and resilient economy. So thank you very much, Lukas. And now let's move far away from Europe, and let's welcome our first Chinese speaker of the day. So I'm very happy to have Miss Janet He with us from BMH Technologies. So Janet, the floor and the screen for the next 35 minutes are yours.
Thank you, Vital. Good morning, everyone. I'm very glad to be invited here to speak here, and I will show you maybe some learnings from our trip to China and how our business have been developed until now. Yeah, I'm working for a Finnish company called BMH Technology. And currently I'm responsible for the operation in China. So firstly, I will briefly introduce what we are doing in Finland and also in China. And then I will share some of our experience or our roadmap, how we developed in China. So BMH is a private company founded in 1929. So already quite a long history, over 90 years. And our headquarters is in a small city in Finland, in Rauma. And we are a clean tech company. So today we mainly combat two global problems. One is to reduce the amount of waste dumped into the landfills, and also second one is to reduce the CO2 emission caused by fossil fuels. And we have mainly three business sectors: solid biofuel handling system, waste refining solutions, and life cycle service. So our customers are mainly like power plants, pulp and paper mills, cement kilns, and waste management companies. From this picture, you can see that here are some of our deliveries and our equipment. Basically, we deliver like a waste refining system, a process line to refine the waste into an alternative fuel, which I will explain a little bit more later on. And as I said, that our target is to reduce the fossil CO2. And from this graph, you can see that we have already saved like over 5 million tons of CO2 emissions since 1980. So that is our mission of the company. Here I will mainly introduce these waste refining solutions of our company, and this is our actually main business in China. For the other business sector, like biomass handling system, which that is our main market is in Europe. So in a short way, our solution is to turn waste into an alternative fuel, which is called solid recovered fuel. And the waste material, the resource of the waste is non-hazardous waste, like municipal solid waste or industrial and commercial waste. And then through our process line, it will be turned into a so-called SRF, which is a high quality and standardized fuel. It has a European standard. This fuel is very environmental friendly. The CO2 emission is lower than coal, and also the quality is very good, that it is clean and it can substitute like a traditional fossil fuel like the coal and oil. So for this fuel, the end user is any combustion facilities like the power plant or cement plant where they use traditional fossil fuel, that they can use this substitute fuel. Here is what I mentioned about the comparison of the CO2 emission between the, for example, the coal or petcoke or fuel oil comparing with the SRF. This is a study from the SRF standardization, that the CO2 emission of SRF is about 1/4 of the coal. Here is our company's main offering, or let's say our process line, how to produce SRF from the waste. So the basic idea is that the incoming waste will be shredded first into a business card size, which is less than 80 millimeters. This particle size will enable sufficient combustion in the later on combustion facility, and also enable a high efficient separation after the shredding. So after shredding, the material will go through several separation processes in order to separate the non-combustible materials out from the waste. For example, the metals, the fine fraction like some sand and soil, and also the non-magnetic metals, and also some heavy inert fractions like glass or stone or some ceramic. So anyway, the whole process is to clean the waste. First, shred the waste into a small particle size, then separate all the non-combustible material out from the waste. Then we turn this waste into a high quality, clean, and high calorific value fuel, which is called SRF. So here is some example of our SRF production plant. So this is from some of our references in Europe, and also we also have now the reference plant in China. So from this picture that you can see that the process is very compact and all the lines totally closed without any kind of leakage or any other impact to the environment. And here is an example of this our SRF production line combined with a boiler to generate power. So this is a kind of integrated solution for power plant. So here shows some of our deliveries all over the world. Currently, we already delivered more than 70 our waste refining lines around the world. So here you can see that we have also already some deliveries in Asia area, for example, South Korea, Thailand, and also especially in China. So this is our basic introduction of our company and our deliveries. Next, I will share with you about our development in China and what kind of challenges we have met. So here I draw a kind of timeline about how we when we entered into China and what is our main steps during these years. So in 2012, we BMH headquarters decided to enter into China after some market study. And then we set up a web office here. First, it's only a web office in China, not any legal entity. By the way, we are located in Finchi, as Heli mentioned before, from the very beginning, 2012 until now. Yeah. So at that moment, we started with 2 people here in China, mainly to investigate the Chinese market and see how shall we do the business or what shall we promote here in China. So that starts from summer of 2012. And then during 2013, I would say that the whole year we are doing the market promotion and also the market education work, because this SRF concept that I introduced earlier, that was a totally new concept to China at that moment, and nobody really knows what does it mean or what it will bring to them, what kind of benefit they can get by producing this SRF. So back then we have done a lot of market education work to many stakeholders, like the government officials, the engineering company, design institute, kind of industry association, of course, potential customers. So all in all these related stakeholders, and we invite them, some of them, to visit our reference in Finland, and also we invite the Finnish expert in this area to give them lectures. So to let them to understand why we are doing this and how shall we do it in China. Of course, the demand in China is not exactly the same as in Europe. So we don't necessarily sell the exact same offering or same lines in Europe to China. So in 2014, we managed to sell our first simple waste refining line in China. So here, as you can see, that I mentioned a simple line, because as I just said, that the demanding or the requirement in China is not necessarily the same as in Europe. So back then we asked the customer's request, and based on that, we developed a specific machine for them and delivered it to China at that time as our first step in China. It is not like our top serious product, but it's like suitable for China at that moment. So that was the first let's say, sales case for us in 2014. And then, of course, we continue to educate the market and talk with the customers, top management people, and also all the other stakeholders. And finally, in 2015, we make this market breakthrough in the waste to energy industry. We sold our complete waste refining lines, several lines, to China. Meanwhile, we are also helping them to establish the, not helping them, but kind of giving consultant for them for the Chinese local SRF standard. Because China is such a big country and almost the same big as the whole European Union, the area and also the population wise. So Chinese people think that the situation in China, for example, this waste handling industry, the waste properties is different in China as in Europe. For example, Chinese people, our eating habit is different as in Europe, which leading to the waste coming out is different. So they would like to have their own local SRF standard. We kind of give them consultant and also introduce the Finnish experts and also other European experts to them to share our experience. And then in 2016, we made a market breakthrough in cement industry. As I just mentioned, our main customers are one is waste management industry, and then other one is cement industry. So I would say that until then, 2016, we established our reputation in China, and most of the people in this industry, they already know us as a brand and also know our technology. So, and also at that year, 2016, BMH board decided that we shall establish a wholly foreign-owned enterprise in China, especially to support the after-sales service business. Because for the service business, because for our equipment, actually, it consumes a lot of spare parts during the daily operation. So for these spare parts sales and service work, customers, they tend to trade in renminbi. They are not willing to pay, for example, euro and do all this custom clearance, which is very complicated in China, by themselves for these kind of daily operations. So we have to do this work by ourselves, means that we import the spare parts from our headquarters and then store it here in China, in our warehouse, and then sell it to customer in renminbi to better support and help the customer. So, and then in 2017, we also started to localize some of our spare parts in China, because the operation of the equipment consumes a lot of spare parts, and if all the spare parts are imported from Europe, that will cause kind of unnecessary duties and other like transportation costs, and also the delivery time is too long for customer. So this is a strong request from our customer to localize some of our spare parts in China. So we started that work, and the work is still ongoing right now. We do it step by step, and maybe first start with some simple parts, simple like machining parts, and then later on with some complicated parts. But of course, some key parts are still imported from Finland. But from that moment, we started to plan our spare parts warehouse, and kind of what kind of parts we shall keep here, especially for some long delivery parts from Europe. We have to store it in our warehouse in China. And then for some simple parts which can be localized in China, then we don't need to worry about them because the delivery time in China usually is very short. And also at that same year, we kind of started to hire more people in China, more local people in China. As I mentioned, we started with 2 people in 2012, 1 Finnish people and 1 Chinese people, which is me. And then later on, we had some new people, but in 2017, we really want to establish our own company here. So we hired more people, for example, our service engineer, and also for the localization, we have the purchase engineer, and also some administrative people here in China. So then in 2018, our local business is in real running, means that we started to sell our spare parts and our service work, and we try to run by ourselves. And then at that time, also the global ERP process was put into use in our Chinese company. Of course, it is also a very difficult process because the working process in Europe and in China is different. Sometimes the system doesn't really suit the Chinese situation. So this is also what we have to discuss with our headquarters about that. And then from this 2019, our business is running steady, and we started to really make profit for our company. And during last year, 2020, our plan was that to start the localization of some equipment. And this is also very important because the Chinese market is very price sensitive, especially after so many years, competitors coming in, and there are more options for the customers. Of course, our product is always considered as best quality and best performance, but you have to understand that customer, they have the financial pressure. So we started to plan that some of the let's say not core equipment, we started to plan for the localization of the equipment in China. But due to the COVID situation, the process was a little bit delayed, but still it is on our schedule. Because after this COVID situation, I think our headquarters or our board has kind of confirmed again that be local is really, really important. Because sending people from Europe is very, very difficult at this moment. So we have to be local and to support our customers. So this is our kind of like our journey in China. And yeah, I write here a few things to share, maybe just from my own perspective, that doing business in China, that the first one is we should really follow the market change. I have to say that during these 8 years in China, we have seen the market change in China, and we have really to adjust our offering to suit the market. I mean that not always thinking from Europeans' point of view how it should be or how did we do in Europe, but really trying to understand the market in China. And the market change is very, very fast in China. So you have to keep an eye on this and talk with your peers and maybe even competitors and see what they are doing and try to follow the trend and catch the train. And then the second point is to adapt the business culture. Of course, this is everybody talks about this. And I think this should be connected to the third point, is to find the right people. I think this is very important to have the local people to deal with the customer and trust the local people. This is very, very important. When you find the right people and then train him, of course, you train him to fulfill our company's kind of value and mission, then trust them to do the business with our local customer. And then the last but least is a strong support from headquarters. This I see it very, very important. I'm very lucky that I have very good bosses in Finland, that they are really willing to listen to me and really to think on behalf of the customer. And we discuss about this as what shall we do to support the customer. So this is also very, very important from my point of view, support and trust from the headquarters. So yeah, this is mainly my sharing. Yeah, thank you for your time. Yeah, if you have any questions, I can try to answer.
Thank you very much, Janet. Very interesting stuff. I have multiple questions myself, so I'm just trying to start from some end. But maybe in the very beginning, that about the people and finding the right people. How did the BMH technology find you? So you said that you were the first person in 2012, and now you have stayed all those years. So how did they find you, and did you have actually any experience with Finnish or European people before that?
Yes, that's a good question. Yeah, I had actually, before BMH, I was working for a Finnish kind of public organization for 3 years, also in Finchi. So yeah, because I have this environmental protection background from my university degree. And then before BMH, I worked for this it's a public organization called the Finnish Environmental Cluster for China, but it is not existing anymore. It was supported by a central Finnish government and some Finnish cities, and also some companies at that time, to promote the Finnish environmental business in China. Yeah, I worked for that organization for 3 years before BMH, and then at that time, I got to know BMH, and then later on, they contacted me.
Okay. And how many people you are today in China?
Currently, we have 6 people here. We don't have many people here, but I think we have a very excellent team here. And our people, actually, everybody is multitask. So you don't kind of give them only one title that they only do. For example, if he's a sales manager, he's not only doing sales work. If there is some project related things or service things, that whenever help is needed, he can be there. So this is very important.
Okay, and there is everywhere, I would say, across globe, one of the questions is that how do you keep the people, or there is this personnel turnover in companies. How has that been for you? That have you managed to keep the people in BMH, or how often they are changing?
I would say that we are lucky that our people are willing to stay here. I think for keeping the people, maybe the company culture is very important. Not only the salary, of course, salary is also very important for our colleagues, but also like the company culture, and you give them trust, and you let them to do their work, and also you listen to them about their ideas, because they always have some ideas how to improve our business, or how to improve the relationship with the customers. So show the respect to them, and then if it is their suggestions are very, very good, then we adapt their suggestions, so makes them feel like they are very important for the company.
Okay, and maybe one final question from the product side. As you mentioned that the Finnish quality is recognized as high quality, but at the same time you are facing the price pressure from the market. And how did you find like the balance between the quality and the price pressure, or how would you sell this like Nordic or European quality while meeting the price pressure from the market? What has been your experience?
Yeah, this is always challenge for our sales process. First of all, I think customers who are willing to talk to us, they know that of course the finished product is more expensive than local one, but they believe that they are willing to pay for more to buy better quality, but not too much. So you need to kind of talk with them and understand that how much more they would like to pay for. Yeah. So and see if we can meet that target. Then of course, also I said that we are trying to localize some of our equipment in China, but that doesn't mean that we lower our quality. We have also still the same quality requirement for the equipment or parts manufactured in China. But then we can reduce, for example, the transportation, the freight cost, and also the duties cost. Yeah, so this is a way also we are trying to do here in China.
And I did promise that this was my final question, but now still I'm curious about something that you mentioned, that you started with 2 people, one Finnish person and you in China. And is the Finnish person still working for BMH?
Not anymore. I mean, he's from last year, from 2019, BMH has decided to send back all the expats back to Finland, and now the office is only Chinese people.
Okay, that was also what I was curious about, that how much is like headquarter people there. But since I believe that you are in somewhat unique, that they have found such a good person in you that they can fully trust you. But we had also one question through the chat, is that how do you ensure quality in China? So maybe your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, this is I think this one you need to have a very good cooperation with your subcontractor or your supplier. Actually, in China, everything can be done in any kind of quality. Sorry to say that, but the good quality can be realized in China, but you just need to always keep an eye on your subcontractor and visit them regularly. So this is our experience that, of course, in the beginning, you have to share all the quality documents and all this, your requirement to them. And of course, you have done some kind of audit to the supplier before and check their previous deliveries to other customers or whatever. And but later on, during the manufacturing phase, you really need to visit them regularly. And then they really think that, okay, you are very serious on these deliveries, so they will spend more efforts on that. And then I think now we are satisfied with some of our subcontractors. They are very good.
Thank you. Very many interesting nuances from your talk. And unfortunately, just to keep the overall webinar time, I have to stop asking questions. But from option pools to the sales rep offices, really, really interesting presentation. So thank you very much, Janet.
Thank you.
And moving back to the Europe and a little bit south from Estonia, where I am located, to our southern European neighbors in Latvia. So we have Mr. Linards Klavins from University of Latvia, and he's joined with Mr. Kristaps Erglis from the Systems Innovation Ltd. So the floor and the screen are yours, Linnarts. And we are also waiting for you to unmute yourself.
Yeah, it should be on now.
Yeah, now we can hear and see the presentation.
Yeah, so thank you for the introduction. So my name is Linnarts. I am from the Natural Resource Research Center of the University of Latvia, which is also part of the Novel Baltic project. So if you have any questions, if you get any questions during the talk, then please let me know. So, and I will tell you about the research that we do here in the university and how we help different entrepreneurs and companies to develop their products and their processes. So we are located in Riga. We mostly deal with hydrochemistry, so analysis of different types of waters, and the main focus is on natural products analysis and how we can utilize these resources. We do a lot of characterization of natural products, and also time to time we get requests from entrepreneurs to kind of do some kind of research work for them and to develop some products with them. So we are basically doing all our research on this circular model, which is firstly the biomass. So we try to find out what kind of biomass we could use for some future prospects and how we can prepare this biomass and how we can store it and so on. Then further, we usually extract some kind of phytochemicals, so some molecules that have some bioactivity that have some potential use for human consumption and use in different kind of products. Further, when we have extracted these chemicals, we characterize them using different advanced methods, for example, chromatography and so on. Further, identify individual compounds or groups of compounds. The next step in this model is the application potential. So when we have found out what kind of molecules we have, we can start thinking of the possible uses of these molecules and some possible products that we could incorporate these molecules with. And the final step, after all the extraction, all the characterization, and so on, we have the utilization of the leftover biomass, which is basically just empty biomass. So we could either compost it by addition of other different materials to make it more potent for growing plants, so for agronomy, and then in turn it goes back into the biomass. So now a few examples of what we have done. So in this example, we were dealing with cranberry press residues. So that is the material that is left over when you make the cranberry juice. And there is these molecules that are called procyanidins. They are responsible for treating and prevention of urinary tract infections. And there's a lot of these procyanidins in chocolate, for example. However, they are also found in quite high concentrations in cranberries. And so our experiments were to firstly find out how to get these molecules out of the biomass, which is the press residue, and then also characterize these. So we had done a lot of extraction optimization using different approaches, also a mathematical approach, which gives us a lot of information on how to extract this specific material. And we have also characterized these extracts that we prepared using FTICR, high resolution mass spectrometry, which is a very powerful method due to its extremely high sensitivity. So mainly there are described only a few procyanidins in the cranberry press residues. However, using this method, we found 61 different prostaglandins. And what we found out, which is so with the fact, the thing that's important for the entrepreneur or the person or the company that will be producing such product is to find out which part of these extracts is the most active. So what we found out was that the higher the degree of the polymerization of these molecules, the less active they are. So then if a company wants to produce a product that is for urinary tract infections, to treat them, they should be concentrating on lower molecular weight prostaglandins. Another work we did for a company was extraction of anthocyanins from berries. So it was blueberries and bilberries. And this company, they concentrate on juice production, and they produce juice concentrates for further use in production of food coloring. And so they wanted to test how and which enzymes would be the most effective in disintegrating the cell walls of the berries to increase the anthocyanin yields in their juice. So to produce juice that has more color. And so yeah, we did these experiments, and what we found that in fact in 5 of these enzymes that they were planning to use, in fact only 2 provided good results, because you can see here that these 3 enzymes here, they in fact reduce the concentration of anthocyanins, which is not favorable for the producer. Bilberries, they are one of the more important non-timber forest products that we're dealing with in the Novel Baltic project. And so they are the products, they're used for different kinds of product, juice concentrates, also some natural antioxidant powders. And so these berries are usually authenticated by the use of anthocyanin profiles. However, as we saw in the previous slide, so here, if you use different preparation process, different preparation method of your product, you can change the anthocyanin profile significantly. So you won't really get the same anthocyanin profile for the same berries, depending on the method you use. So to overcome this, during the project course, we are trying to provide a method that could be used for authentication of bilberries and their products. And so this method is a combination of isotope stable isotope ratios and metal analysis. And in this graph you can see, so each of these clusters is a different country, and you can see that by the use of this method we can quite successfully distinguish between, so this is Finland, this is Norway, this is Lithuania, and this is Latvia. So Latvia and Lithuania, they are sort of together, they are Baltic states, they are quite close together, and Finland and Norway, they are separated very well, so we can distinguish the origin of these berries, and also the authenticity that in fact these are bilberries. And yeah, we have done also a lot of other collaborations with different entrepreneurs. They sometimes come to us with just requests for analysis to check quality of their products, and sometimes it's just a request that's basically, so we have this kind of biomass, what could we do with it, what products we could make. So thank you for your attention, and I will give the floor to my colleague Kristaps from System Innovations now.
So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the word. My name is Kristaps Erglis, and I'm representing company System Innovations. And today I will share our experience about supercritical fluid extraction of sea buckthorn seeds, and also our cooperation with University of Latvia. So, at the beginning, a little background about our company. It's founded in 2007. The main field of business is clinical research. and also development of novel medical technologies. But in 2012, our company was also involved in a nutraceutical research project, which was clinically evaluated for the efficiency as a supplement to the standard medical care. And also it draws our interest. Later on, we find out that these results were actually very good when compared to the control group of the subjects included in the study. There was a significant improvement for the group which used the nutraceuticals in terms of blood lipid profile and also reduction in inflammatory markers. So since that, we have participated in several projects about extraction of C. bacterin berry residues. Why C. bacterin? Because we have our own plantation in the northern part of Latvia, actually quite close to Estonian border. And that was one of the reasons why we started to work with this plant. Yes, and in 2019, we opened our pilot scale supercritical fluid extraction plant in Riga. So as I mentioned already, our first project, we started to work with the C. bacterin seed oil. What the reason for this is because the composition is quite unique. It contains up to 90% of unsaturated fatty acids. Mainly of them are omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids with some addition of omega-9. Also, the composition in terms of ratio omega-3 to omega-6 is close to 1:1, which is quite unique actually in the nature. It also contains phytosterols, especially the beta-cytosterol, which is thought to be one of the compounds which might reduce the low density lipoprotein, which is bad for us. It also contains tocopherols, and our plan is actually to produce this product in a soft gel capsules, about 1,000 milligrams per serving, to be administered internally. Here you can see the fatty acid profile of our extracted oil. This is also what Leonard said. This is very important, I mean, for the companies who are doing extraction, as they have the external laboratory access and they can provide us with these results and analysis, which is very important in the development phase of new products. And here you can see that these numbers are quite stable in terms of the composition. So this gives us a good idea that we might be able to produce a product with the stable composition. So a little bit about the supercritical fluid extraction. Well, we are using carbon dioxide. Once it reaches critical pressure and temperature, it is in its supercritical state. And further increasing the pressure and temperature, you can tune it for specific compound extraction. So this extraction technology is quite effective and selective. So our system has 4 separators. You can adjust these settings to extract the compound of interest. In this extraction technology, the substances are extracted in their natural form. They're not changed in any way. Also, this technology is good for sensitive products. They're not damaging it. It's quite high yields. If we look at the extraction outcomes, there's no oxygen present there, so this is good for the product. There is no chance of oxidation. And also it's a eco-friendly technology because once you finish the cycle, the CO2, the carbon dioxide is recycled back and can be used for the next extraction cycle. And these extracts usually are stable and have long shelf life. And if you're working with the pure carbon dioxide, these extracts usually contain only lipid fractions and do not contain any proteins, food allergens, and fibers. And yes, and also one of the benefits that there is no solvent residues, as once you collect your product, then the gas is returned in this gas form and it's recycled for the next extraction cycle. Here is a little bit about our cooperation. We have now we are engaged together with 4 partners in the EU Finance project, The leading partner is System Innovations, followed by University of Latvia and One Baltic and Ramkaln. Each of them have their specific thing to do in the project. And with University of Latvia, we are cooperating in this doing these analysis, and also the clinical part of it is with the Institute of Cardiology and Regenerative Medicine. And Ramkaln is one of the largest producers of natural candies in Latvia, so they are responsible for preparation of the raw material. So, and we have our target in this project is to develop a methodology to extract sea buckthorn seed oil or lipid fractions, and which we will further investigate in a clinical research. We will give to the research subjects these soft gel caps, and we will follow up them and see how the oil can change the lipid profile and also the inflammatory markers in the patients or subjects with elevated cardiovascular residual risks. So about supercritical fluid extraction application, actually it has quite a wide potential of application. It can be used for a lot of different fruit and vegetable matrices to extract lipid fractions. Our company have a medium range system, so it gives us a good chance and opportunity. We can use it for experimental purposes. We can develop some products, and also we can produce some medium scale batches. And what we are looking for in the future, we are looking besides the carbon dioxide, which is the main solvent, we can also use co-solvents such as ethanol to extract more polar fractions such as polyphenols, which are in a great interest nowadays, as they have, as Linards already told, they have a lot of these health benefits. So this is well, and also yes, we are, how to say, open to new projects and new ideas, and this is what we are doing actually. So thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, then I'm very welcome.
Thank you, Linars and Kristaps. I have at least two questions. One is a bit provocative, because usually what we hear about university and company collaboration is that companies always complain about universities, that universities are slow, they are like cumbersome, they never deliver. So what is your experience? And you can be totally honest to Linars, because I feel that there is like more than 2 meters distance between you, that he can't really do anything to you.
What I can tell you that in our case, university is more flexible than a lot of companies which are providing these services for analysis. Because we are here very close to each other, we can call and we can have very good collaboration with this.
Okay, that's good to hear. And I have a second question also, which is a little bit like influenced from Janet's previous speech, as she was mentioning that they needed to educate the market. And it seems that to me that in your product's case also, like the background is really complex and it has a lot of science behind it. But when you sell it to the end user, then you kind of have to simplify it down. Maybe not to say just that, you know, this is good for you, but how much do you need to educate the users or customers in your case about the product quality?
Yeah, this is a very good question actually, because there is a lot of science behind this, and also you cannot always tell the customer all these small details. So you have to simplify, you have to reduce the information to explain them that this is a high value added product, but you have to simplify these things for the end user to understand it, why it is better than the other one. So we are putting our effort of the technology, which is actually to be quite innovative, I would say, and also this composition and also other benefits, like I mentioned already, that these products are quite pure and they don't have any don't have any residues that are not necessary for the product itself.
Okay, thank you. And Lennart, you have a question, if you can see it in the chat. I would rather prefer not to read it because I might mispronounce a couple of the words there.
Yeah, so the question is, can you separate the lower degree polymerized cranberry anthocyanins from the higher degree polymerized ones? Well, the answer is yes, we can. We have developed a method where we use 3 different types of absorbents, so we can quite successfully split them. So the lower ones are with the polymerization of up to 3 units, I think, and then the higher ones are 3+. So yeah, we can do it quite well.
And I have also a question to Lennart, as I asked the question from Kristaps, that is it good to work with universities? So the same question, just with a slight change of words. So is it good to work with companies, and would you like to work with companies more than you are working today, or less? That are they kind of, taking away your time to do research, or are they providing you vital input to do better research?
So from our experience, I think like we of course like working with companies a lot, because the ideas that they bring, it's very often something quite new to the market. So it's also quite new to us. And we can use all kinds of different methods that we haven't used before to produce these results and products, and develop methods for them. So it's, I think, definitely beneficial for both the university and the company. And also from the university's perspective, we quite often can use these results, of course, with the permission of the company, to use them in our research to produce some scientific articles, because again, the ideas that they bring, they are very often quite unique and innovative. So.
Okay, good to know. And we have one final question to Kristaps, which is that the properties of sea buckthorn seed oil are impressive. Is there any such product out in the market already?
Well, I know that yes, I think our closest competitors of this technology is in Finland, actually, but they are producing a little bit different product. They are using all the residues. In our case, what we are doing, we are separating the seeds of the pulp and skin. It's after the juice, as Lennart already told very, very clearly how they do it. After pressing the juice, then these residues are used, but we are separating off the seeds. We are using just the seeds. Yes, there are a lot of products, but most of them are, as I know, are produced either in the United States or in China. About Europe, I haven't heard actually. Maybe there are some companies that are producing it.
Okay, thank you. And moving forward, so we have now time to travel back to China, and hopefully Dr. Wang Kaixia from Beijing Forestry University is with us. So I would ask her to present about the DNA barcoding technology. So we can see your presentation, but I believe that you are still muted as well.
Thank you, Vado. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So Professor Dong Bolin has something and he cannot to hear to the webinar. So I will give a presentation instead of him. Okay, Good morning, everyone. I will give a presentation about the barcoding system for identifying our herbal medicines. I'm Wang Caixia from Institute of Chinese Material Medical, China Academy of Chinese Medicine Sciences. I'm a former student of Professor Zhang, and now I work in SAMM. So first introduce my institute to you. It's a very old institute founded in 1955. The most famous people in our institute is Tu Yu. She won the Nobel Prize in psychology or medicine in 2015 due to he found the artemisinin from artemisinin amino. It's a very excellent work. So today I give my presentation from the three aspects. First, I will introduce our TCM barcode system to you. Then I will introduce some innovations and technical content in this. Also, I will share the applications of the TCM barcode. So from these pictures, I think maybe someone can figure out can figure out the fresh plants of fresh medicinal plants in the first row. But I think for most people, it is very difficult to know what is the exact TCM. TCM is dry parts of fresh medicine plants. Also, for the powdered or processed TCM, or some TCM with very similar appearance, I think even experts can hard to know what is it. So how can we do to identify the TCM? In China, people are quite trust TCM, especially in the past year. TCM is widely used in treating the novel coronavirus patients, as it has proved effective in improving the cure rate. So the overall value of the TCM medicine reached up to 2 trillion, a very big industry in the last year. In this big industry, more than 10,000 species are widely used, but some with identification difficulty. So from the picture, you can see its appearance is very similar, but one is true, the other is false. And for some processed, for some powder and processed TCM, it is even difficult. So the misuse of medicinal plants can be happen and can reduce the therapeutic effectiveness. So it's very important to guarantee the correct medicinal material that used in TCM. To solve this problem, we try to solve the TCM barcode using DIN barcode technology. So what is DIN barcode? DIN barcode is a new technology that use standard DIN sequence of organism to determine its identity. It uses short sequence concealed among most species, but with enough viral ability to divide the related species. In animal kingdom, COX1 was the most used sequence, and among plants, Mark-K and RCBL are the most used barcodes traditionally before our work. So to solve the problem in the TCM identification, we from our previous work, we found that ATS2 and PSB has a very higher identification ability than the traditional used MATKey and RCBL. So based on this, we established we established a DIN barcode identification system using these mainly these two barcode. So this is the websites of our TCM barcode system. It's a publicly available online DIN barcode. You can use this we designed this to store and collect DIN barcode sequence of herbal materials and publish DIN barcode sequences. Also, we can use system to analyze DIN barcode data. So in this database, in this system, 11,000 of species and 14,000 of standard sequence of TCM are included. For medicinal plants, we use the ATS2 as the coding barcode, and the PSBA is selected as the supplemental DIN barcode. For medicinal animals, we use the COI as the DIN barcode. So not only the medicine plants and animals, their close relatives, inferior substitutes, adulterants, and counterfeits are also included in this in our system. So how can we identify species use system? You need first to get a sequence, use primer ATS2 or PSBA, get the sequence, DIN sequence of unknown TCM. Then you can input the carrier sequence. Just use BLAST in our system, and they will tell you what is it of this unknown TCM. Some tips for this. The query sequence is not, it should be longer than 15 BP, and also faster or only DIN format is accepted. So you can try this if you're interested in this. So during our work, we first reported the ATS2 as DIN barcode for identifying medicinal plant species in 2009, and we published this work in 2010 in PLOS ONE, and in the next year in PNAS, we published a paper. ATS and ATS2 should be incorporated into the code barcode for seed plants. So ATS2 has a high efficiency and stability in identification of traditional Chinese medicine. Especially for some related species that the traditional DIN barcode cannot recognize. And also it can effectively identify adulterants from traditional Chinese medicine, even for some roots, skins, and whole plants and flowers, and any parts of the plants. To guarantee the absolute correct of the standard sequence, we first take 11,000 species belonging to 250 families, and all these samples are confirmed by experts, and each sample is more than 10. These samples are also controlled by some official calibration. Then during our experiment, we also used the BLAST and the barcoding gap to guarantee it's correct. Finally, 10 official inspection departments agreed that DIN barcoding is suitable for the identification of TCM. So in the system, in this system, ATS2 as the main sequence and PSBA as assistant sequence. We also developed SOP for identifying unknown TCM used our system. Also, we developed the platform for the herbs and also the software system for identification. Our standard DIN barcodes of Chinese medicine material was incorporated in Chinese pharmacopoeia as routine methods. And also we published a book about DIN barcode for Chinese medicine materials to introduce all these barcode sequence in detail. Also, we introduced the standard DIN barcodes of Chinese medicinal material in some developed countries and regions. Here we trained the experts from British Pharmacopoeia Commission, and also we assisted the American Pharmacopoeia Commission in comparing standards for the identification of herbal medicines. Also, we cooperated the staff of Hong Kong Health Department about the TCM barcode identification. Our co-workers said that our work renaissance in herbal medicine identification from morphology to DIN level, and PNAS in 2011, they said ATS2 is often much easier to amplify and sequence than the traditional used ATS. The CBOL, the chairman of the CBOL, in 2017, Nature said that our work opened a new avenue for identification of the traditional TCM. Based on this huge standard sequence and system, we have some applications. For example, due to this system, seeding and seeding identification for farmers, they can guarantee they will plant the correct herbs, and this system can also help the herbal supervision control the sales of the adulterants and substitutes in medicinal material markets. Also, in the pharmaceutical industry, it can help material control, and also in pharmacy, in scientific research, it can help scientists or research to identify an unknown herbal medicines. And for in customer, it also can help supervision of herbal medicines. Last, this system can also help the protection of the endangered herbs. So our system and the ATS2 DIN barcode are widely used in more than 100 TCM companies in local China, including Tianshili Group, Jingdong, etc. And these big companies are the one of the biggest TCM company in China. Also, we have some cooperation worldwide, such as company, the biggest TCM company in Japan. We helped them to identify herbal medicine for their TCM, and Yunjin, a company from USA, we helped them to identify 7,000 of herbal samples, and AMV, we helped them construct their DIN barcoding system for their food supplements. Also, British Pharmacopoeia and American Pharmacopoeia. We also had some communication or cooperation with Mississippi University and also McCall University. So we got, during this work, we got some prize in China. So the National Science and the Technology Progress, second prize. And the first prize of the Natural Science of China Association of Chinese Medicine. The first prize of the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology Progress Award. So our published work are widely cited by PNAS and other journals, and also our work are elected as the biggest, one of the biggest 10 biggest news in the TCM industry in China. So this is our work about TCM barcode in our work, in our group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'm always amazed and surprised how wide the world is and how many applications there are, because I'm still thinking about this application slide that you showed, where there is also the usage of this technology in planting the right plants, and also using the technology to actually protect the endangered species. Because of course I knew about the food and the medicine and adulteration issue, but this widening the scope, how the technology can be used, this is really interesting. And I'm amazed, I'm baffled, and this is really interesting stuff that you're doing. And this is coming from me, who I am definitely not a scientific person by nature. So I'm always looking at the applications. So very interesting to me, and hopefully to our listeners as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to write them to chat or via email, so we can take them. And as we are nearing to the end of our allocated time for the webinar, and we don't want to spend your precious lunch or dinner time, we will move forward or actually move backwards to Latvia. And we have this two-way transit between Latvia and China in our webinar. So Ilona will give us last but not least, the speech about Silvexpo's experience and the sneak peek into the market intelligence report that we are working on Novel Baltic project. So Ilona, the floor and the screen are yours.
Yes, thank you, Vaido. Thank you for a kind introduction. We are bringing you, me and Vaido, that is a sneak peek into market intelligence report that we have been working on in the bounds of the Novel Baltic project. I'm representing company Silvexpo from Latvia, and we've been happy to collaborate with everybody in this Novel Baltic project. So here are a few words about us. We are a green phytopharmacy company. We manufacture health products from different plant raw materials. And basically, currently, we're trying to establish an export in Southeast Asia region. Not yet so much in China, although we have also tried. So what is China? It's a good question. I think different answers can come to mind. To some, maybe it's Mao. To some, maybe it's even pandas. But if we're looking from the point of view of exporter, what would be important is that China is a vast consumer goods market. It is also essential for the global trade system. And nowadays, also in part thanks to the horrible COVID, it is becoming increasingly this digital economy. And all of this brings more investment opportunities to China, and also these import and export opportunities. Here's a slide which I put together on like some current aspects of what China's business climate looks like. well, luckily for China, it has been one of the few countries which has got under the out of the pandemic with a head start. So it's recovering very well. And when everybody was basically panicking at the beginning of 2020 and the pandemic hit, in the first 7 months, China received one of the highest influxes of foreign direct investment. And also what is, I guess, very different from the other countries during this past year, and maybe this year still, is the growth of GDP. Which China has seen almost 5% in this last couple of months of 2020. And also it is predicted to have even further growth in GDP. And on top of all that, if the news weren't this good, they're actually better. So for the first time, actually more Chinese companies are on the Fortune Global 500 list than the US ones. So China is actually moving ahead to become the world's first economy. It is still considered the second largest. So how does China do that? Why is everything going so well and smoothly in the business department? In May 2020, actually 46 new pilot zones for this cross-border e-commerce were opened, which brings Chinese zones to 105. So these are the zones which really have easier, let's say, way of doing business with the outside, which concerns imports and exports. And these zones are supposed to fuel China's growth and help foster this cross-border logistics, also cross-border financial payments, and increase the shipping capacity. And these zones have lowered taxes and tariffs, which are very good for the trading opportunities with outsiders. But they also connect the small domestic SMEs of China with the outside world. So you can see also here on the map where these are located. So it's something to consider if you want to start doing business with China as an outsider. So if you're thinking to start exporting to China, where should you start? First of all, it is very important that you do your own market intelligence. So you gather the data with help of some agencies or however you can. Of course, local resources in China would be, I guess, the best option. You have to look at the market size for your specific industry. Of course, you have to gather statistics data on competitors, so you understand what are your opportunities there really. And the important thing are these localization points. As I mentioned, one of the points to look at could be these e-commerce zones with some tax reliefs and things. Well, let's hope that during the summer it would be possible to maybe again visit trade fairs and some industry-focused exhibitions. And here I could mention that around 80% of them are actually happening in Shanghai. So that is a good place to start. And of course, try to use local associations, like also in our webinar, it was mentioned that Finchi is something which can help. It's actually not only for Finnish companies. I've also went to trip to China and visited the Finnish embassy, and they said that Latvians and Estonians and Lithuanians are also welcome to receive some help from them if they want to start the export. What is important, but I will not go into detail about it, is the mode of your entry. So you can enter as a wholly owned foreign enterprise or both. You can just open a representative office in China, or you can do a joint venture with a Chinese company. That's a separate talk. But what is also important is to understand how your industry levels in China. Does it coincide with the national priorities? Because in some industries, actually, you have to keep in mind that if you're on lower priority side, you're not like a high-tech industry or something like that, you actually could have a different financial dealing situation. Like you could be only paid in renminbi for your services. And another thing is the location. It is always important. And for example, in Shanghai, if you're going for city center, it could be the price for renting an office as high as 250 euro per square meter versus the outskirts point where it could be 25 euro per square meter. So it's a big difference. What are the main challenges? Here I have highlighted something which Solexpo has also come across in our dealings in the Asia region. Baltic countries like Latvia, I think also Lithuania, maybe Estonia, are less recognized. I think the higher, if we go to the Scandinavian countries, which also includes Finland, the recognizability is better. But still, I think from the Europe side, Germany is better recognized, and UK, of course. So this is one problem to overcome. Also, trademark registration in China is quite a difficult process, let's say, and it's not a straightforward process. Another thing is that when you sign a contract with a Chinese partner, there is, first of all, a long gap between you actually start the first conversation till you sign the contract. You have to meet each other, you have to visit each other, which might be difficult at the moment. You need to show your manufacturing plant to ensure that well, you know what the Chinese partner looks like, what you look like if you want to sell your products there. And sometimes there is even like this pressure on the manufacturing lead time. So if you're a very small SME, it's something to consider how you're gonna deliver this sustainability to the export. And what are the tricky areas? So here I put the picture of this very, not trusting penguin, let's call it that. So you should really take a role of this penguin when you're entering such a big market as China. And the tricky parts where you should pay extra attention to are the non-disclosure agreements. So that is the first thing. So you want to sign something which actually protects you, protects your products. Well, hand in hand comes the trademark registration, because there are very many illegal copies of the products which you might bring, and you think you can, well, just have a trademark and nobody will copy them and everything will go okay. But actually, if you're successful, there will be more copies of your products than you can deal with. So it's something like, if you believe in yourself and your ability to conquer this market, you should really invest time and maybe good legal support for the registration issues. And what are some of the points of due diligence which you can do on your own to help yourself out? So it would be, of course, to conduct an online search. Also, you need to have help from people who speak Chinese, so they can verify what you have found in the English language online. You should ask your partner for foreign references if they have any. Check their business license, their financial reports, and of course, if it's possible, talk to their suppliers, to some competitors, already known customers. You should really do this due diligence if you want to be successful for a long time to come. And this is basically a portfolio which we have done in our project. And I would like to ask everyone who could be interested to join the portfolio. Some of the listeners might be already in here. So we combine the companies, the small SMEs, who deal with the non-forest timber products, and we provide, well, basically, I guess, free information for promotion. If you want to export to China, we're circulating it in the Chinese site as well. You're welcome to join. And this concludes my short talk. I hope you got some new information out of it, and it's been a pleasure to have you in our webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Ilona. And we are super precise. This is the first time ever when we have actually managed to finish on time with our webinars. And I think this is the first time ever also for our webinars, which has gone without any major technical disruptions. So it's good to see that we are having some progress in all the different areas which are important. So thank you very much from my side as well. I would like you to remind that we will upload the presentations and the recording of the webinar to Tartu Science Park website, and we will disseminate the information via email also to all the registered participants. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact the speakers directly. If you can't find the contacts, you can always ask them through me or find them online. So it was really our pleasure to have you. And hopefully once or twice at least during the Novel Baltic framework, we will have an opportunity to look into the partnerships between China and the Nordic and the Baltic regions further. So thank you very much for being part of the webinar, and have a really good continuation of the day or evening, depending where you are located.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.